So, episode 30 of Mostly Arsenal. Firstly, a disclaimer, there will be swearing, so if you don't like that sort of shit, keep scrolling or watch something else. Secondly, don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, would be absolutely mint. Now, I'll do something a little bit different tonight. I don't normally do big game previews or anything to do with tactics or formations or anything. But as Saturday's game was pretty massive, I thought I'd change that, and I spent most of this afternoon as I was driving back from London. Just I was thinking about different formations, and I think I might have come up with one. I'm not saying I have come up with one because obviously I'm not the Arsenal manager, but there's a lot of things I want to say, and I've got tons and tons of notes down the side of my screen here. So if I look like I'm looking away, I'm not. I'm just trying to read because there's too much for me to fucking memorise. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Firstly, I'd like to start with these are just my opinions. All right, we've all got different ones. I'm not saying that my opinion is more valid or more correct than anyone else's. This is just how I see things, and feel free to comment down there. Keep it nice, keep it respectful. Don't be a knobhead about it if you disagree. But yeah, we'll crack on, and I'll go into. I'm going to start with the lineup. That this is not what I think Mikel Arteta is going to do. This is what I would do. Okay. So I'm going to start obviously Ramsdale in goal. I'm going to go with a back three of White on the right hand side, Gabriel in the middle, Kieran Tierney on the left, with wing backs Nuno Tavares on the left, Tomiyasu on the right. You've got a middle three of Thomas Partey with Bukayo Saka to his right, Emil Smith-Rowe to his left, and then up top Lacazette and Aubameyang, probably with Lacazette sitting a little bit deeper. Now, you'll notice from that the formation that I would go with has changed slightly. Now, under normal circumstances, I don't like people mucking about with formations. I don't see any point to changing what's been a successful winning formation. My reason for going with three at the back is purely Liverpool's just outstanding attacking prowess, predominantly from their right flank, which is one of the reasons why I've gone with Tierney as a left-sided central defender with Tavares just in front of him. Now, I'll speak firstly about why I like the idea of three central defenders. Now, I understand a lot of people see it as a defensive setup because obviously you've taken one of your players from the 11, either midfield or attack, and you've shipped them into the defence. So I do get that. But I look at it a little bit differently in that I think it gives you, depending on the personnel that you've got, as long as you've got the correct personnel to play this system, I think it actually gives you more attacking options than a 4-4-2 in certain games. And it gives you this natural width whereby it actually makes it easier to beat a fast high press, and let's face it, Liverpool's press is probably one of the best that you're ever likely to see. Not only that, I posted a graphic earlier and it came up as 5 defenders. The only reason it was like that is because the app that I used is BBC. I'm not too bothered about naming and shaming them because they're not ever going to fucking sponsor me, are they? And it wouldn't allow me to put Tavares and Tomiyasu in as midfielders, so that's why it's come up as a defensive graphic. But my way of thinking is more attacking than that. Now, I think this system gives you a lot of versatility. It gives you different options. Obviously, if you're under the cosh, yeah, you've got your 5 defenders and they're all tucked in, and it's really, really compact and essentially difficult to break down. But the flip side is when you're attacking, you've essentially got 5 midfielders, 2 playing proper wide, and you've got 2 guys with jets in their feet as well. And I just like the fact that when you pick the right personnel, they should have the intelligence to be able to switch it up and pick how they're going to play, and they get to read the game and they can adapt to the different situations that come up in a game. Because let's face it, especially against Liverpool at Anfield, you're not going to be in the ascendancy all the time. You're going to be under the cosh, so you need to be able to adapt to these different situations. So the main reason I love this system is its versatility. Now, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of changing winning formations. I see no reason to do it under normal circumstances. And the 4-4-2 was working really, really well. But my main concern against Liverpool is their right-hand side. You've got Mo Salah, who is essentially the best attacking player on the planet at the moment. He's constantly cutting in from the right-hand side and he's ripping people to pieces. Now, Kieran Tierney, I know he's been out for a while. He's been back, played for Scotland and did very well by all accounts. But he's tenacious, he's quick, he's not often sold a dummy by attacking players. He watches the ball, he doesn't watch the feet. And for that reason, I think he's the best person to go up against Mo Salah. And not only that, it gives Nuno Tavares the opportunity to hopefully push Trent Alexander-Arnold back as well. Because what we really, really need to do is stop Liverpool's fullbacks. We need to cut the supply off from them entirely. We all know how good their delivery is. Trent looks like he's nailed on to be playing. Andy Robinson's probably out, so I think it's Tomiskas will take his place, who's been playing very, very well. We need to cut those supplies, and the best way I think that we can do that is to have wing backs pushing them on. And as they say, attack is the best form of defence. Now, if we're pushing them back, they're not coming forwards because we're giving them extra problems. And I've not seen a huge amount of Tomiyasu going forwards. He's done bits and bobs. He's a very good defender. But you look at Nuno Tavares, the pace that guy has got, he can potentially be pushing Trent all the way back. And this is something we really, really need to do, is just cut the supply from their fullbacks. Another thing I like about having a back three is I think it gives us the opportunity to see the best of Ben White. We've seen in the last few weeks how adept he is at bringing the ball out. Now, if you're playing against Liverpool with a back two, you don't really want a central defender to be carrying the ball out. But with three of them, there's that extra security which may well give him the opportunity. He might not get the opportunity with their press, but if he does get the opportunity to break the lines, then there's that extra security behind him, and the other guys will just tuck in. I do think if we start well, whichever formation we go with, Klopp's so astute. He will adjust things to suit, and he will change his formation, his lineup, his tactics to try to exploit any weaknesses that he might have noticed. Now, with that in mind, the players that I've picked them specifically as players who can instantly go from 3 at the back to 4 at the back. Now, the way that would work is, say for example, the 3 at the back's not working, or if it looks like Liverpool could drive a bus through our 3 in the middle and we need to stiffen up our midfield a little bit, you just shift Tomiyasu in to right back, then White, Gabriel, Tierney all shift over one spot. So you've got Tierney playing as a traditional left back. You move Nuno up onto the left wing, and you put ESR in the middle with Thomas Partey, with Saka out on the right. Now, I know what people are going to think here, like, Emil's been outstanding coming in off the left, and I'll get that, but I'll come to that in a minute. I want to speak about Tavares first. Now, he is essentially a left back who is exceptional at going forwards. Not massively been tested defensively yet, but going forwards, he's absolutely brilliant. Now, that to me, the fact he's a defender and he's brilliant going forwards, those are literally the main attributes that you need as a winger. And his delivery at pace from out wide is very, very good as well. Now, moving on to Emil Smith-Rowe. I've said for quite a while, I see him potentially as a generational box-to-box midfielder. Not saying a box-to-box midfielder is all he'll ever be, because he's got loads more in his locker than that. His use of the ball is incredibly efficient. One touch kills it second touch, moves it on. He's got an incredible footballing brain. He carries the ball at pace like it's literally on a fucking string tied to his boot. And one thing I've noticed recently, or two things I've noticed recently, if he were to be playing central midfield, he's incredibly quick for a central midfielder. Central midfielders are not normally renowned for pace. He's got an abundance of pace and he can break through the lines very, very easily. And I do believe that he makes an excellent pivot for any defensive central midfielder that he's playing alongside. And another thing he's brought to his game, very much so, probably the last 10 games or so, is the timing of his runs into the box. And the proof's in the pudding. You look at his stats, his goal involvements. He's already halfway to what some people have set as a target for the entire season, and he really, really is that good. As far as the strikers go, 2 up top is absolutely essential. It's showed that it's worked. I've been banging on about 2 up top for as long as I can remember, and it just helps to keep their central defenders occupied, even if one of them's coming off a little bit deeper. I think it's absolutely essential that we stick with the 2 guys up top, obviously Alex Lacazette and Auba. The main things I'm looking for is the boys need to be confident in themselves. They need to be calm, and they need to match Liverpool's tempo. But I think the main thing is confidence and belief. Don't go in there being scared because of how recent history has turned out at Anfield. This is blank canvas time. We need to show that we are capable of matching them, and the best way to do that is to go at them. We can't sit off. That's why I wanted to do this video, so I could explain my preferred formation, because just putting it out in a tweet, it does look defensive essentially, but it's not defensive. It can work. If it doesn't work, then we can switch to a 4-4-2 with those players that I've mentioned. On top of that, excuse me, you've got the option as well with the wing backs that we have. You're always told as a player, I didn't play much as a left back, but I played quite a lot as a wing back, and you're always told when you are attacking your opponents down the opposite flank, so for example, you've got your left back is attacking, the right back tucks round, and this doesn't need to be any different whatsoever. If Tavares is attacking, Tommy tucks round. If Tommy's attacking, Tavares can tuck round. Or if the game's panning out differently, they can both just fucking bomb on. And I honestly think having the 2 wing backs is the best way of pinning their fullbacks in a more defensive position, and gives us a better chance of cutting the supply from these guys. Like I say, I know everyone's got their own opinions. Normally I'm a bigger fan of 4-4-2. I just think that this game, especially with Mo Salah's form, it needs us to be able to give extra security when required. But we also have 2 wing backs who have the lungs, they have the legs, they have the intelligence to be able to perform the roles of both wingers and wide defenders. And I think a lot of the credit for this has to go to Arteta and Edu with the recruitments that they made in the summer. It was mentioned a little bit earlier that having 5 at the back didn't work out so well against Manchester City, but this was a different team against Manchester City. A lot of the personnel was different. Xhaka got himself stupidly sent off after half hour, and it was an entirely different game. I honestly think that this game's kind of set up for us. I'm not massively, I'm not saying we're going to go Liverpool and smash them 4-0, but I am optimistic we're going to get a result, whether that be, if we get a draw, that's an improvement. It's just about going there and showing that we are improving and we are actually a match for this team. Because looking at the top teams in the Premier League, I think attacking wise, Liverpool are the best. They're quite fearsome, to be perfectly honest. But when you look at the guys that have been brought in the summer, they are obviously young, they're intelligent, they have the necessary physical and skill attributes that are required, and then some. And they're all capable of playing more than one position in more than one formation. And when I speak about intelligence, I mean football intelligence, that there should be the opportunities there where they can decide, right, we're going to have to go 4-4-2 for this particular situation and sort it out for themselves. And that lends itself to a certain fluidity of football. I'm not talking about like the Dutch total football from the 70s, but it gives us the opportunity to be able to change things when necessary. And I was quite critical of Edu in particular in the summer. I didn't think he was doing enough, but to be fair to the bloke, he's done a very good job. When you look at the guys that we've come in, and I've been talking about this all the time, I've not even mentioned Aaron Ramsdale. He's a huge difference, and he will be a huge difference on Saturday. He gives that, whether it be back three, back five, back four, he gives them this extra confidence with his, not just his goalkeeping talents, but his distribution, his personality, and yeah, I'm really quite optimistic about Saturday's game. I'm thankful it's not Saturday lunchtime game because we know how they normally go. But Saturday tea time, 5 o'clock or 5:30, bring it on. And move on to my prediction now. I am going to go for 2-1 to us. I don't think for 1 minute that we'll be able to keep a clean sheet against this attack that they have, but they're also properly shaky at defensive set pieces at the moment, as West Ham showed when they last played in the league. And you know, we're in the ascendancy when it comes to attacking set pieces. We're absolutely smashing it at the moment. And yeah, I'm quite happy we've had the international break since Liverpool got turned over by West Ham, because it maybe has kind of dulled the emotion for them from that game, and it maybe minimises the chance that we're going to have to face a backlash. But yeah, that's about it. Like I say, any comments, drop them down there. I'll be sharing this on Twitter as well, so feel free to interact with me on there. But all things being well, be a good day Saturday, and we'll get the result that we deserve. Thanks very much. I'll see you next time. Good night.